On Your Site Tonight continues now. Good evening and thank you so much for staying with us. Jamie Bowl has the night off. I'm John Carter. Tonight we're talking about mental health, how your work can impact your mental health and how employers can better meet the mental health needs of its employees. You know, the way we view mental health has changed over the years, and that's highlighted in a recent national study with eye-opening results. You know, many of us take a lot of pride in our work. Creates value in our lives. It's where we spend most of our time. It helps support our families and ourselves. But the demand of any worthwhile job can also produce stress. Recently, there's been a change in how we look at mental health. Businesses see the importance of maintaining the mental health of employees.
Generations look at mental health or mental wellness benefits completely differently. For example, Gen Z, the newest to our workforce, they expect benefits and mental health benefits to be available, and they expect the barriers to access them to be removed. On the other end of the spectrum, the baby boomers on the way out of the workforce, they were taught to not discuss mental health at all, let alone in the workplace. There's a real disparity between how employees look at what mental health and mental wellness benefits are.
That new national survey came from Securian Financial, which examined mental health wellness in the workplace. And here were some key findings. Generations view mental health differently. Younger employees use mental health benefits more. There was a disconnect between benefits offered and most valued. Finally, financial and mental health wellness are interconnected. Well, when we ask how many employees have used at least one of the benefits their employer provides to support mental health wellness, the youngest class of employees, Generation Z, was most likely to take advantage, followed closely by millennials. Less than half of baby boomers took advantage of employee benefits. Now, we also found there are plenty of barriers employees find that prevent them from using mental wellness benefits. Employees found the benefits are undervalued, confidentiality is questioned, and younger employees are often overwhelmed. Well, for more clarity on this, our Jamie Bowl recently spoke with Darren Reeser, Securian Financial Regional Director for Supplemental Health Benefits, to discuss the major themes of the mental wellness debate.
Stigma about mental health is a big issue for our older workers. And you think one of the respondents in our survey said that a baby boomer who was a few years away from retirement had commented, "I've been taught to not discuss mental health my whole life, and now to have to bring these things up in a work meeting or ask someone in the HR department about something I'm struggling with is a real departure from the way that I was taught to feel about these things." So it's a real different day now.
This is important for managers to take in, because if you've got multi-generations in your workforce, you probably need to talk about this in different ways.
Absolutely. The way that they educate them is really important. So our younger workforce said that there's just not enough hours in the day as they're learning how to cope with all the different stresses of being in the workforce. So one of the ways that employers were successful at doing that was making benefits available during lunch and learn on the work site during the workday. So those younger employees who commented that they're challenged, it accomplished several things. A, it made it available at a time where they could receive it. It also provided an opportunity for them to have a trusted advisor in their employer provide that information, so they felt more likely to understand it and be able to access them.
And it sounds like, Darren, a manager's voice in this is really important.
It is important. And I think, as you said, because confidentiality is a key, stigma about mental health is a key, being able to trust someone in the workforce that is going to communicate that in a way that feels non-threatening and that feels supported was certainly really important.
Do they want to see these mental health days being a separate bucket from just your typical PTO?
I do see those, and we do get comments of those. And I can say from our many employers that we work with, they provide them in a separate bucket. So there's a real dedicated focus on that. I think that goes to overcoming some of that stigma as well, that if you need those days for those reasons, take them.
These things can't be ignored any longer. And I think they have been really for a long time.
I think what we learned in the survey too is a challenge for employers is that our older workers may be suffering in silence because of those stigmas and those attitudes about mental health. But what we're learning in today's environment, if you want to recruit those young and retain those young key employees, because their expectations are such that those benefits need to be available, it's a focus for an employer to make sure that they have those, they're valued, and that they're understood.
Securian Financial asked 2,500 employees of American organizations last fall, how important is it your employer provide mental wellness resources and benefits? Generation Z, the youngest generation, still early in their careers, expect access to mental health services right away. Millennials were raised to believe mental health challenges are problematic but fixable. They're inclined to have the attitude of rolling up their sleeves and getting to work. Climbing the age ladder, though, Generation X recognizes access to mental health benefits can be problematic, but just tries to get through it. Baby boomers, the oldest generation with representation still in the workforce, were taught to tough it out and not talk about mental health challenges. The top 3 mental wellness benefits those surveyed said they have through work include mental health coverage through medical insurance, a set number of free counseling sessions, and virtual counseling. Meanwhile, Securian found the top 3 mental wellness benefits utilized by those surveyed, if they have them, are mental health days off, or PTO, subscriptions to meditation, mindfulness classes, or apps, and workshops or seminars focusing on mental wellness. We've talked a lot tonight about mental wellness and the benefits employers should now consider. But how's this for a benefit? A 4-day work week? Maybe less of a dream than you might expect. Most European companies who took part in a large trial found it is a better way to do business and another benefit for employees' mental health. CBS's Ian Lee reports from London.
Nestled in West England, between rolling hills and a babbling brook, is a workplace revolution. The company Tyler Grange helps other corporations protect the environment, but it can be a dirty business because employees often burn fuel traveling to different job sites.
Our main environmental impact is around CO2 emissions and driving cars.
Managing Director Simon Ursel says shortening the work week from 5 to just 4 days seemed like a better way to nurture nature.
And we noticed there was a 21% reduction in miles traveled. So that's a heck of a lot of reduction in CO2 emissions and emissions from vehicles, rubber emissions from your tires, maintenance.
Last year, the company joined the world's largest 4-day workweek study.
When countries have higher hours of work, they tend to have higher carbon emissions.
Researchers found commuting times in the U.S. dropped 27%. Professor Juliet Shore says the reduced hours are not a cure for climate change, but can be part of the solution.
If large numbers of people move onto 4-day schedules, I think we can expect a pretty significant carbon reduction from that.
Employees also noticed the savings.
It affects the wear and tear on your vehicle, the cost of the fuel to drive in and out of work.
What was good for the environment was also better for business.
Our clients are saving a lot of money, that's for sure, because we tend to do some miles for work and we would charge the client for those miles.
Does that make you guys more competitive then?
Yes. Yes, the 4-day work week has made us much more competitive.
Helping employees, the bottom line, and the environment, he says, is a win-win-win. Ian Lee, CBS News, Gloucestershire, England.
And Tyler Grange also says they also saw a 6% rise in productivity after moving to a 4-day work week. So what do you think? We'd like to know what you think about mental wellness in the workplace, and you can connect with us on Instagram and Twitter using the hashtag OYSTonight, or take a look, there's a QR code there on your screen. Go ahead and take a picture of that. That'll take you directly there too, but we would love to hear what you think about this.